Reality, a concept we all take for granted, yet it is far from mundane. It's a mysterious tapestry woven from threads of the known and the unknown, and sometimes those threads seem to glitch. Welcome to a journey through the strange and unexplainable, where the fabric of reality itself seems to unravel, and the ordinary becomes extraordinary. We're all familiar with the concept of reality, the world as we perceive it, the tangible, the observable, the explainable. But what happens when reality throws us a curveball? When the laws of physics take a day off, or time decides to take a detour? That's when we start to question, what is reality really? There's a term for these puzzling phenomena, a phrase borrowed from the world of science fiction that seems to perfectly encapsulate these bewildering experiences. We call them glitches in the Matrix. The term originates from the iconic film The Matrix, where a glitch in the artificial reality signals an alteration in the system. In our context, it refers to those bizarre, unexplainable moments that challenge our perception and understanding of the world. In the next moments, we're going to delve into some fascinating stories shared by ordinary people, just like you and me, who've experienced these so-called glitches. These aren't tales of the supernatural or the paranormal. No, these stories are firmly rooted in the realm of the ordinary, and that's what makes them so extraordinary. These tales will range from disappearing objects to unfamiliar familiarities, from time slips to doppelganger glitches. Each one is a thread in our unraveling fabric of reality, a glitch in our collective matrix. They remind us that reality is a complex, malleable construct, and that perhaps, just perhaps, there's more to it than meets the eye. So, as we dive into these tales, remember, reality is not always as it seems. Brace yourselves, for we're about to plunge into the mysterious, the baffling, the utterly mind-boggling world of glitches in the Matrix. Are you ready to question your reality? Let's be.
From Redditor/u/a_lot_of_italics. One day I was walking to work and all of a sudden had an urge to walk a different path than usual. I worked downtown in a big city. It was a strange spur of the moment urge to walk a different way that changed my life forever. I turned into an alley I had never seen before. As I remember it, I made it about 15 feet or so when an actual glitch happened. Everything in my mind scrambled. I felt like I didn't have a body anymore. Just that I was a semi-conscious entity floating through some weird dimension. All of a sudden, in the array of different colors and shapes, a vision came to me. It was a bunch of strange-looking people that in my mind resembled businessmen in suits. They looked startled and panicked that I could see them. One of the people made a quick movement and everything turned to black. When I regained normality, I was on a completely different street. It was the same street that I always used to walk to work. I felt sick and severely disturbed/depressed. I've never done any hard drugs, never experienced any hallucinations. Never have had anything like this happen to me. The weird thing is, when the glitch was correcting itself and I could see those people watching me like a caged animal, I had the feeling that I knew I was being controlled. It still bothers me very much to this day.
Begin. Ever put something down only to find it gone when you return? No, you're not losing your mind. Many have experienced this baffling phenomenon. Let's dive into the mysterious story of a Reddit user who experienced this reality-bending event. They shared their tale of an ordinary day turned extraordinary by the vanishing of an object right before their eyes. So our protagonist, let's call him John, was in his study, working on a project. As he was poring over his notes, he realized he needed a ruler, which he remembered was in the kitchen drawer. He went to fetch it, used it for his project, and then he placed it back on the kitchen table. When he returned to the kitchen later that day, the ruler was nowhere to be found. He searched high and low, checked the table, checked the drawer, even looked in places it had no business being, like the fridge and the oven, but the ruler had seemingly vanished into thin air. Now let's take a look at the comments on John's post. Redditor Glitch Guru commented, "Maybe you're experiencing a minor glitch. Objects disappearing and reappearing is a common occurrence in many glitch reports." Another user, Matrix Maven, chimed in, "It's like the universe is playing a practical joke on us. I've had similar things happen. It's baffling and a bit unnerving." User Reality Rambler offered a more scientific approach, suggesting, "Could be a case of misplaced perception. Our brain sometimes overlooks objects we're actively looking for." And finally, Quantum quirks added a dash of humor, saying, "Maybe your ruler ran off to join the circus. Who knows? It's a wild world out there." Back to our story, John had given up his search and returned to his study, perplexed and a bit unnerved. But the universe had one more twist in store. The next morning, while making coffee, there it was. The ruler on the kitchen table just as he had left it the day before. He was sure it wasn't there the previous night. He had checked the table multiple times, but there it was, as if mocking his futile search from the day before. John was left scratching his head, wondering if he had somehow overlooked it or if he had really experienced a glitch in the matrix. As it often happens in such cases, he got no definitive answers, just a lingering sense of wonder and a story to tell. So next time an object disappears on you, remember John's ruler. It might just be a playful reshuffling by the universe, a tiny hiccup in the fabric of reality. Or perhaps it's just your mind playing tricks on you. And so the object returned as if it never vanished, a simple yet inexplicable glitch in our matrix. Have you ever stepped into a place you've known all your life, only to feel like a stranger in a strange land? This is a tale of a glitch in the matrix where the familiar became unfamiliar, leaving our storyteller questioning their own sanity. Our tale comes from a user who shared their experience on the internet. They had lived in the same house their entire life, a house they knew like the back of their hand. One day, after returning from a usual day at work, they found themselves standing in their living room, feeling utterly lost. The room seemed alien, as if they had never set foot in it before. They knew where they were, yet everything felt wrong, out of place. The first comment on their post was from a user who had experienced something similar. They wrote, "I've had this happen a few times. It's like a momentary disconnection from reality. It's chilling and makes you question everything." Another commenter chimed in, "I've read about this. It's called jamais vu. It's like the opposite of déjà vu. Instead of feeling like you've experienced something before when you haven't, you feel like you're experiencing something for the first time, even though you know you've been there before." A third user offered a somewhat scientific explanation. This could be a temporary glitch in the brain's ability to form and retrieve memories. Our brains are complex, and just like a computer, they can have their glitches too. The last commenter, however, suggested something more paranormal. Maybe you stepped into a parallel universe for a moment, where everything was just slightly different. Who knows what's really going on? As the storyteller read these comments, they felt a mix of relief and unease. Relief because they were not alone, and unease because the event had left them feeling unsettled. They tried to shake off the strange feeling, telling themselves it was just a glitch in the brain, not the matrix. Days turned into weeks, and the feeling of unfamiliarity gradually faded away. The living room returned to its familiar state and life went on as usual. But the experience left a lasting impression on our storyteller. It was a reminder of the strange and unexplainable things that can happen in our everyday lives, the glitches in the matrix that leave us questioning the very fabric of our reality. In the end, the familiar returned to normal, leaving behind a lingering sense of unease. Another glitch, another unsolved mystery. Scene script. Time, a constant river flowing forward. But what if, for a moment, the river changes its course? Imagine this scenario. A regular day, just like any other. You're heading to work, the same route you've taken hundreds of times before. The same buildings, the same trees, the same people. But then, something peculiar happens. You glance at the clock, it reads 8 in the morning. You blink and suddenly it's 6. Not 6 in the evening, 6 in the morning. The same day, but 2 hours earlier. You are baffled. What just happened? Did time just slip? This is exactly what one Reddit user experienced. They shared their story in a post, and it sent chills down the spines of many readers. Let's delve into some of the comments from that post. The first comment reads, "Wow, this is genuinely eerie. I've heard of time slips before, but never experienced one. It must have been quite unsettling for you." Indeed, unsettling is an understatement. Imagine the disorientation, the confusion. Time, as we know it, just rewrote itself. The second commentator chimes in with, "This feels like a plot straight out of a Twilight Zone episode. Makes you wonder how many times we might have experienced time slips without even realizing it." A fascinating thought, isn't it? How many times might we have been caught in a time slip, completely oblivious to it? The third comment adds a scientific perspective. Could this be a case of time dilation? It's a concept in physics where time is affected by gravity and speed. Though it's typically associated with black holes and speeds close to the speed of light, who knows? Maybe there's more to it that we haven't discovered yet. A thought-provoking point indeed. Could there be scientific explanations for these so-called glitches in the Matrix? The last comment brings a philosophical angle. Time is a man-made construct. It's possible that we don't fully understand it. Your experience might be a hint that there's more to time than we think. An intriguing perspective, to say the least. Could our understanding of time be flawed? And so, the thread continues, filled with theories, anecdotes, and questions. But one thing is clear. This Reddit user's experience with a time slip, whether explainable by science or not, is a glitch in the Matrix that leaves us questioning the very fabric of reality. And just like that, time corrected its course. Yet another glitch that defies our understanding of reality. Imagine seeing yourself, not in a mirror, but standing right in front of you. A chilling thought, isn't it? Welcome to our fifth glitch in the Matrix story. This one is a little unnerving. It's about an encounter with a doppelganger. Our storyteller was just a regular person living a regular life, until one day, things took a bizarre turn. As they were walking home from work, they noticed a figure ahead. The figure was oddly familiar. The way it moved, the clothes it wore, everything was eerily similar. As they got closer, their blood ran cold. The figure turned around, and they found themselves staring into their own face. It was like looking into a mirror, but there was no reflective surface around. It was them, or at least it looked exactly like them. The doppelganger didn't say anything, it just stared back with a blank expression. Then, as suddenly as it appeared, it turned around and walked away, disappearing around a corner. Now let's delve into the comments from this original post. One user wrote, "That's seriously creepy. I've heard of doppelgangers being a bad omen. Stay safe." Another chimed in, "Could be a twin you never knew you had. Or maybe a clone. The world is full of strange things." A third comment read, "Sounds like a classic glitch in the Matrix. I've read similar stories. You're not alone." The last comment we'll include was from a user who seemed to have a rational explanation. It could be a case of prosopagnosia, where you can't recognize faces, even your own. Maybe talk to a doctor. Each comment adds a different layer to the narrative, from superstition and fear to scientific reasoning. The storyteller was left with more questions than answers. Was it a doppelganger, a twin they never knew, a clone, or was it all in their head? They never saw the doppelganger again, but the encounter left a lasting impression. It's easy to dismiss such stories as figments of imagination or tricks of the mind. But what if they're not? What if they're glimpses into the cracks in our reality, the glitches in the Matrix? These stories challenge our understanding of the world and force us to question the nature of reality itself. They remind us that there's so much we don't know, so much that's unexplained. So what do you think? Was it a doppelganger, a glitch in the Matrix, or something else entirely? Perhaps we'll never know. But one thing is for sure, the world is full of mysteries, and every now and then we get a glimpse into the unknown. A doppelganger or a glitch? You decide. Ever received a text message from a number that doesn't exist? Well, buckle up because our sixth glitch in the Matrix story is about to take you on a strange digital journey. Our storyteller was going about their day when they received a text message. The message was simple, just 3 words: "I see you." What was odd was the number. It wasn't in their contacts, and when they tried to call it back, they got an automated message saying the number didn't exist. But there it was, a text from a number that supposedly didn't exist. They posted their story online, and soon, comments started pouring in. One user wrote, "I got a similar message once, but it was from an unknown number. I never figured it out." Another chimed in, "That's scary. Maybe it was a prank or a wrong number." A third user suggested, "Could be a glitch in the phone system or maybe someone hacking into it." And one user had a more supernatural theory. "Sounds like a ghost trying to communicate. I've heard of spirits using technology to send messages." Each comment added a new perspective, from the plausible to the paranormal. But the mystery of the phantom text message remains unsolved. Our storyteller never received another text from that number, but the memory of that strange message lingers. Was it a prank, a glitch, a hacker, or something more supernatural? We may never know, but it's another reminder that our world is full of mysteries, full of glitches that defy explanation. A phantom text or a glitch in our Matrix? The mystery continues. Have you ever experienced the eerie feeling of suddenly being alone in a place that was just crowded? Our 7th glitch in the Matrix story comes from a Reddit user who experienced just that. Our storyteller was at a busy train station during rush hour. The hustle and bustle of people rushing to catch their trains was a familiar scene, but suddenly, everything went quiet. Our storyteller looked around to find the platform completely empty. The crowd had vanished. They blinked, shook their head, thinking maybe they were dreaming, but the platform remained empty. The noise returned as suddenly as it had disappeared, and so did the crowd. It was as if someone had hit the pause button on reality and then pressed play again. They posted their story online, and soon comments started rolling in. One user wrote, "I had a similar experience at a concert once. Everyone disappeared for a second, then reappeared. It was so weird." Another user suggested, "Could be a form of temporal lobe epilepsy. It can cause hallucinations like that." A third user offered a more philosophical perspective. "Maybe we all exist in multiple realities at once, and sometimes we slip between them." But the mystery of the vanishing crowd remains unsolved. Our storyteller never experienced anything like that again, but the memory of that strange moment lingers. Was it a hallucination, a slip into another reality, or a glitch in our matrix? We may never know, but it adds another layer to the enigma that is our reality. A vanishing crowd or a glitch in our matrix? The mystery continues. There you have it, 4 mind-bending glitches in our seemingly ordinary matrix. We've delved into the unsettling realm of the unraveling fabric of reality, where the ordinary becomes extraordinary. We've witnessed the disappearing object phenomenon, where the mundane turns into a mystery. We've walked down the strange path of the unfamiliar familiar, where the familiar becomes unfamiliar. Lastly, we've slipped through the cracks of time with time slips and met our mirror image in the doppelganger glitch. These stories, drawn from the far corners of the internet, serve as reminders that reality, as we perceive it, might not be as solid as we think. They give us pause, make us question, and sometimes they even make us believe in the impossible. It's a testament to the beautiful complexity of our world, a world that never ceases to surprise and mystify us. If you've ever experienced a glitch in your own matrix, we encourage you to share it. Your story could be the key that unlocks another layer of this enigma we call reality. Don't let your experience remain a mystery. Share it, discuss it, and maybe together we can start to unravel these threads of the unknown. Now we have a small request. If you've enjoyed this journey through the glitches in our matrix, consider helping the Weird Reddit 111 channel reach 1,000 subscribers. Every click, every share, every subscription brings us one step closer to that goal. It's a small step for you, but a giant leap for our channel. Your support allows us to continue exploring these mysteries, to keep questioning, and to keep sharing these fascinating stories with you. Thank you for joining us on this journey through the glitches in our matrix. Until next time, keep questioning your reality.
One moment she was there, and the next she was gone. This is the unnerving tale of an inexplicable disappearance that happened right before my very eyes. It was an ordinary day at the park, a place teeming with life. Children laughing and playing, families enjoying picnics, dogs chasing after frisbees. Among the crowd, a young girl caught my eye. She was playing alone, her laughter ringing out, her joy palpable even from a distance. Suddenly, as I watched, she vanished. I was rooted to the spot, my heart pounding. She didn't walk away, she didn't hide, she simply disappeared. One moment she was there, the next, nothing but an empty space where she had been. I scanned the area frantically, thinking my eyes were playing tricks on me, but she was gone as if she had never been there at all. The park continued on in its merriment, oblivious to the bizarre occurrence. This wasn't a magic trick. There were no smoke or mirrors, no hidden trapdoors in the grass. This was broad daylight in a crowded park. The rules of physics, of reality as we understand it, were contradicted in that moment. It was as if a glitch in the very fabric of our universe had swallowed her up, leaving no trace behind. I questioned my sanity, my perception. I even questioned the nature of our reality. Could we be living in some kind of simulation, a sophisticated illusion where people can just vanish without a trace? Could this be a manifestation of the Mandela effect, where collective memory and individual perception clash in inexplicable ways? But no matter how much I pondered, there was no logical explanation, no rational understanding to be made of the situation. It was a moment that defied comprehension, a moment that shook me to my core. Just like that, she was gone. I blinked, and she vanished. This story isn't just about a mysterious disappearance, it's about the inexplicable, the unexplainable, and the profound questions such anomalies pose about the nature of our reality. I was there, but I was also here. How could I be in two places at once? Picture this: one moment you're at home, sitting comfortably in your favorite chair, and the next, you're also standing in your office, a good 20 miles away. Sounds impossible, right? But that's exactly what happened to me. I remember it being an ordinary Tuesday. I was at home just finishing up a late breakfast. My mind was already on the day's work ahead, my thoughts scattered across numerous tasks and deadlines. Suddenly, I felt a strange sensation, like a shiver down my spine, but it was more disorientating. Before I could even process what was happening, I found myself standing in my office. I could see the familiar surroundings, the cluttered desk, the bright fluorescent lights overhead. I could hear the low hum of the air conditioning and the distant chatter of my colleagues. It felt real. I could feel the cold floor beneath my feet, the weight of the papers in my hand, but here's the catch, I was still at home. I could still feel the soft fabric of my chair, the warmth of the half-finished coffee cup in my hand. I could still see the morning sunlight streaming in through the window, hear the birds chirping outside. I was in two places at once, experiencing two realities simultaneously. It was as if my consciousness had split in two, each part completely aware and present in its respective location. I remember feeling an overwhelming sense of confusion, panic even, but the more I tried to make sense of it, the more surreal it became. It was like being caught in a paradox, a glitch in the matrix, if you will. Eventually, as abruptly as it had started, it ended. I was back in my chair, my office a fading memory, but the feeling of being there, the sounds, the smells, they were all too real to have been a mere figment of my imagination. I was left standing in two places, torn between two realities. It was a strange, unsettling experience, one that left me questioning the very nature of reality. Are we living in a simulation where such glitches can occur, or was it just a trick of the mind, a momentary lapse in the fabric of my consciousness? The truth, I suppose, remains a mystery. But one thing's for sure, reality as we perceive it is far more complex and enigmatic than we could ever comprehend. I woke up one day and I was living a life that wasn't mine. Imagine for a moment, a dream so real you could taste the morning coffee, feel the warmth of a different sun on your skin, and hear the laughter of children that were not your own. This wasn't just a dream, it was an alternate life, a life that didn't belong to me, yet felt as real as the one I've always known. In this dream, I was a different person, living in a different city, surrounded by different people. But it wasn't just the surroundings that were different, it was me. I had a different job, different habits, even a different name. These weren't the vague, shadowy figures of a typical dream, but fleshed out individuals with their own quirks, personalities, and shared histories with me. I could recall memories with them, birthdays, holidays, shared heartaches and triumphs. This was a life as rich and complex as my own, yet it was a life I had never lived. The dream was so vivid, so detailed that even upon waking the taste of that morning coffee lingered on my tongue, the sound of those children's laughter echoed in my ears. I found myself in my own bed, in my own room, yet part of me was still in that other life, still living out that other day. The confusion was profound. I was caught between two worlds, two lives. One a life I had always known, the other a life I had lived only in a dream. The lines between reality and dream blurred, and I was left questioning which was the real one, which was the dream. Despite the vividness of the dream, I knew I had to face the reality of my own life. I had to let go of the alternate life, the life that wasn't mine. Yet, the memories of that life, the people, the experiences, they lingered like the echo of a song long since played. I woke up to my own life, but the dream life still haunts me. Everything around me came to a standstill. Time had frozen. It was just an ordinary day, or so it seemed. I was walking down the bustling city street when suddenly, an uncanny silence fell. The lively chatter of people, the honking of cars, the rustling of leaves, everything ceased. I looked around and to my shock, I found the world around me frozen. People were stuck in mid-action like statues in a museum. A child, mid-giggle with her ice cream cone poised in midair, dripping but not falling. A cyclist, caught in the middle of a pedal, suspended as if by some unseen force. Even the birds were frozen in flight. Their wings spread wide against the sky, unmoving. The eerie silence was deafening. It was as if I was trapped in a photograph, a moment captured in time, but I was the only one able to move. I reached out to touch a frozen passerby, half expecting my hand to pass through him like a ghost. But he was solid, real, just frozen. I felt a chill run down my spine, a sense of disconnection. It was like I was in a bubble, separated from the reality I knew. Was this a dream, a trick of the mind, or had I somehow slipped through the cracks of time? I wandered aimlessly in this frozen world, my heart pounding in my chest, my mind racing with questions. I felt alone, isolated. It was an experience that was both fascinating and terrifying. And just as suddenly as it had stopped, time started moving again. People resumed their actions, the sounds of life filled the air once more. The child laughed as her ice cream splattered on the ground, the cyclist pedaled on, and the birds continued their flight. I was back in the world of the living, the world of movement, the world of time, but I was left with a memory, a glitch in the matrix that I will never forget. One minute it was in my hand, the next, it had vanished into thin air. Just like that, an everyday object, as common as a cup of coffee, disappeared. The baffling part? It was right there, nestled comfortably in the palm of my hand. The object was as mundane as it could get, but its vanishing act was anything but ordinary. It was a palpable, tangible thing, not something fleeting or ethereal, and yet, in a blink, it became a part of the unseen. The mind reels trying to comprehend such an uncanny occurrence. It's like trying to grasp smoke with your fingers or trying to catch a shadow. The mystery of it all is as intoxicating as it is mystifying. What happened next was a frantic search, a wild, frenzied hunt for the missing object. It was like a scene straight out of a detective novel, eyes scanning every inch of the room, hands patting and probing every surface. The search was exhaustive, bordering on desperate. But the object was nowhere to be found. You see, it's not just about the object, it's about the violation of the laws of physics, the defiance of reality as we know it. It's about the unsettling feeling of witnessing something that's not supposed to happen, something that challenges our understanding of the world. It's a glitch in the matrix, a ripple in the fabric of reality, and that's the crux of the matter. The object was ordinary, but its disappearance was extraordinary. It wasn't misplaced or stolen. It didn't slip from the hand and roll away. It simply vanished. Poof, gone without a trace. It was like witnessing a magic trick, but without the magician. And then the search ends. Not because the object was found, but because there was nowhere else to look. The object was lost, swallowed by the thin air. It had vanished, leaving behind nothing but a sense of wonder, a feeling of awe, and a story that defies belief. The object was lost, swallowed by the thin air. After the accident, my world changed. I woke up in the hospital, my vision foggy, my mind a whirlpool of confusion. I could still remember the accident, the screeching tires, the deafening crash, the world spinning around me. But when I opened my eyes, everything was different. The hospital room seemed familiar, yet alien. The walls were painted a different hue, the furniture rearranged. The faces of my family looked the same, yet their eyes held a different light. Their voices echoed with unfamiliar cadences. I tried to shake off the feeling, attributing it to the trauma, the medication. Yet as I left the hospital, the changes became more apparent. My home, my neighborhood, everything was subtly different. The layout of the streets, the colors of the houses, the tree that stood tall near my house was no longer there. The city seemed to have rearranged itself while I was unconscious. My friends, my colleagues, they were all there, but they were different. Their personalities seemed altered, their memories of shared times mismatched with mine. Some didn't recognize me, while others claimed we had met under circumstances I had no recollection of. I felt like an actor who had missed the script change, playing out of tune in a familiar yet bizarrely different drama. I tried to adapt, to accept this new reality. I sought help, visited doctors, psychologists, but they all seemed to think it was a mental breakdown, a side effect of the trauma. But I knew deep down this was not a delusion. My world had changed, and it wasn't just in my head. I started researching, delving into the world of quantum physics, parallel universes, alternate realities. The theories were mind-boggling, unsettling, and yet they offered a semblance of explanation. Had I somehow slipped into a parallel universe? A different reality during the accident? Was I living in an alternate version of my world? The questions remained unanswered. I continued to live in this unfamiliar world, trying to make sense of the changes, the anomalies. I looked for signs, clues, anything that might shed light on this mind-bending enigma. My world had changed, and I was a stranger in it. My dog was with me in the kitchen, then suddenly he was in the bedroom. Imagine this, there you are, enjoying a quiet evening at home with your loyal canine companion. You're both in the kitchen, maybe you're preparing dinner, or perhaps just enjoying a late-night snack. Your dog is there, right by your side as always. You can feel his presence, hear his soft breathing, maybe even catch a whiff of that distinctive doggy aroma. There's no doubt about it. He's there with you. Then, in the blink of an eye, something strange happens. You turn around, and your dog is no longer there. Confused, you call out his name, expecting him to come bounding back into the room, but there's no response. You search the house and lo and behold, there he is, in the bedroom. But how did he get there? You're sure he was just with you in the kitchen, you didn't hear him leave, and you certainly didn't see him go. You try to rationalize the situation. Maybe you just weren't paying attention. Maybe he snuck out when you weren't looking, but deep down you know that's not the case. You know your dog, you know his habits, his behaviors. This isn't like him. This baffling event leaves you feeling disoriented and a little bit scared. You look at your dog, and you can see he's feeling the same way. His eyes are wide, his tail is tucked between his legs. He seems just as confused as you are. He looks at you, then at the bedroom door, then back at you. It's as if he's asking you, did that just happen? Did I just teleport? In the grand scheme of things, it's a small incident, but it's an incident that shakes you, that makes you question the very fabric of your reality. Even my dog seemed confused, as if he too was questioning the reality of our world. These glitches in the Matrix challenge our perception of reality. We've journeyed through tales of unexplainable disappearances, mysterious bilocations, alternate life dreams, frozen time, vanishing objects, alternate realities, and teleporting pets. Each of these stories defies our understanding of the physical world, bending time and altering reality in ways that leave us questioning, could we be living in a simulation? These narratives, as bizarre as they may seem, serve as a reminder that there's so much about our universe that remains unexplored and unexplained. They invite us to ponder, to question, and to engage in the grand dialogue about the nature of our existence. So, if you've experienced a glitch in your own matrix, we encourage you to share your story. The world is full of strange phenomena waiting to be uncovered. Remember, reality is not always as it seems. Stay curious, stay open, and most importantly, stay weird. Ever wonder if reality is not as it seems? If the world around us is just a simulation? Well, you're not alone in this thought. The idea that we might be living in a simulated reality akin to the sci-fi film The Matrix is not as far-fetched as it may sound. This concept, often referred to as a glitch in the Matrix, has been the subject of many debates and discussions. And believe it or not, there are people out there who are convinced that they have experienced these glitches firsthand. These individuals recount instances that simply cannot be explained by our understanding of reality, leading them to question the very nature of their existence. From sudden wobbles in their surroundings to inexplicable changes in people's behavior, these alleged glitches challenge our perceptions and hint at the possibility of alternate realities. Intrigued? Stay tuned as we delve into some of these uncanny experiences. Imagine experiencing a moment that shakes your understanding of reality. Let's delve into the unsettling tale of a Redditor's old workmate. This is no ordinary story, but one that might leave you questioning the very fabric of reality. One ordinary day, the workmate was seized by a compelling urge to step outside, a pull so strong it couldn't be ignored. And then, everything changed. He was suddenly engulfed by an inexplicable wobble, a distortion in the world as we know it. This wasn't a mere physical sensation like the ground shifting beneath your feet. No, this was something far more profound, a ripple in the realm of perception, a warp in the weave of existence. As if this wasn't disorienting enough, the aftermath was even more bewildering. His surroundings, once familiar and comforting, had altered in subtle yet unsettling ways. The world, as he knew it, had seemingly reassembled itself. His house was the same, yet different, as if it had been taken apart and put back together with the pieces slightly misaligned. But the strangest transformation was yet to come. His wife, the woman he had shared his life with, had changed too. Her behavior was different, her demeanor altered, as if she was not the woman he had fallen in love with. It was as though he had stepped out of his life and into a parallel universe where everything was just slightly off. Now, imagine yourself in his shoes. Picture your world, your reality, shifting around you. Your home, your loved ones, everything you know, subtly changing right in front of your eyes. What would you do? What would you do if your familiar world started to feel alien? What if your everyday walk to work turned into a journey through a different dimension? Imagine that for a moment. You're on your usual path to your job, the same route you've taken countless times before. But today, something's different. You feel an indescribable sensation enveloping you, like you're a conscious entity floating. Suddenly, as if a veil has been lifted, you're no longer on the familiar streets to your office. You're somewhere else, somewhere completely alien. It's as if you've slipped into a different dimension, a place that exists parallel to our own but is entirely distinct. In this strange new world you see people. But they're not like anyone you've ever encountered before. They seem to belong to this different realm, and they are as shocked to see you as you are to see them. Their faces reflect surprise, even fear, as if they've observed something they thought was impossible. You're there, but you're not supposed to be there. You're an uninvited guest, an anomaly that has somehow managed to breach the barrier between dimensions. You're a glitch in the matrix that has slipped through the cracks of reality. These people, these denizens of this other dimension, they seem startled by your presence. They look at you like you're a ghost, an apparition that's not supposed to exist. You're an intrusion into their reality, and they don't know how to react. But then, as suddenly as it started, it ends. You're back on your familiar route to work with the hustle and bustle of your city surrounding you. Everything is as it was, but you're left with the lingering sensation of that strange journey. You're left questioning your own reality, wondering if what you experienced was a dream or a glimpse into an alternate universe. How would you react if people around you were startled by your mere existence? Can someone die and then be alive again? This question may seem absurd at first glance, but it's one that has been haunting a certain Redditor for years. In the vast ocean of childhood memories, there's one that stands out for its sheer peculiarity. This Redditor vividly recalls a classmate, a young girl, dying in a tragic car accident. The news was devastating. Classrooms were filled with a heavy silence, teachers spoke in hushed tones, and the school held a memorial service. The memory was so real, so palpable, that it left an indelible mark on the Redditor's mind. Years passed, and one day, out of curiosity, our Redditor decided to look up the girl on social media. The screen lit up, and there she was. Her profile was filled with recent pictures, posts, and comments. She was very much alive and well. It was the same girl, there was no mistaking it, the same eyes, the same smile. But how could this be? She had died. Or had she? Confusion and disbelief washed over the Redditor. The memory of her death was so vivid, so real. Yet here she was, alive, leading a normal life. The contradiction was mind-boggling. It was as if reality had played a cruel trick, or perhaps there was a glitch in the matrix. Our Redditor was left with more questions than answers. Was the memory of the girl's death a figment of his imagination? Or did he slip into an alternate reality where she didn't die? Or maybe, just maybe, the reality as we know it is not as concrete as we believe it to be. How would you feel if someone you mourned turned up alive? The question lingers, echoing in the corridors of our minds, leaving us pondering the mysteries of reality and our own perceptions. Can you trust your own memories? Let's delve into a story that might make you rethink your answer. The tale revolves around a person who remembered their uncle's death in vivid detail. As they recall, it was a dreary winter's day when the news arrived. The family had gathered, tears were shed, and comforting hugs were exchanged. The funeral was a blur of black attire and somber faces. The said uncle was a jovial character, full of life and laughter, making his absence all the more noticeable in family gatherings. Years rolled on, and they carried this memory with them, a bittersweet remembrance of a loved one lost. Then, one day, they received a phone call. On the other end of the line was their supposedly deceased uncle, very much alive and asking about their day. Bafflement would be an understatement to describe their reaction. The uncle, utterly oblivious to his supposed demise, talked about his recent holiday and his new gardening project. The person, on the other hand, was caught in a whirlwind of confusion and disbelief. They rushed to their parents, who were equally perplexed. There were no records, no obituaries, no funeral photos, nothing at all to validate their memory. Their vivid recollection of the uncle's death was nothing more than a mirage, an echo of an event that never occurred. They were left baffled, questioning the authenticity of their own memories. Was it a dream mistaken for reality? Or perhaps a memory from an alternate reality that had somehow seeped into this one? What would you do if your most certain memory turned out to be false? Can a threatening call lead to an unexpected windfall? Picture this: you're going about your day, minding your own business, when suddenly your phone rings. The voice on the other end of the line is stern, authoritative. It's a police officer, and they're not calling to chat. They're threatening to arrest you unless you pay off some old fines. Your heart pounds in your chest as you scramble to piece together your past, trying to remember what you could have done to warrant this call. The officer gives you the exact figure you owe. It's not a small sum. You hang up the phone, your mind racing. How are you going to come up with the money? You've got bills to pay, mouths to feed. This unexpected debt feels like a punch to the gut. You go to bed that night with your mind spinning, the threat of arrest looming over you like a dark cloud. But then, the next morning, something extraordinary happens. You open your mailbox to find a check. Now, this isn't just any check. It's not a tax refund, a gift from a relative, or a rebate from a recent purchase. This check is for the exact amount of your outstanding fines. The exact amount that the police officer had demanded. What are the odds? How could this possibly have happened? One moment, you're facing a potential arrest, and the next, you're holding the solution to your problems in your hands. It's as though the universe knew you needed help and delivered it right to your doorstep. But who sent the check? Where did it come from? It's a mystery that remains unsolved. All you know is that a threatening call turned into an unexpected windfall, a glitch in the matrix that saved you from a difficult situation. What would you think if a threat turned into a blessing? Are these stories mere coincidences or glitches in the matrix? As we delve deeper into these compelling narratives, we're faced with a perplexing question that challenges our perception of reality. Could these be mere incidents of déjà vu, or are we brushing up against the fabric of an alternate reality? It's a haunting proposition, one that sparked debate among philosophers, scientists, and now us, the curious observers. Imagine for a moment a reality where the laws of physics don't apply as we know them. A reality where you could experience a mysterious wobble, or where you could walk between dimensions. It's a thought that's as fascinating as it is unsettling. Consider the story of the classmate who supposedly died, only to be found alive and well years later. Or the account of the uncle's death that never happened. Could these be mere memory lapses, or are they signs of a parallel universe where events have taken a different course? And then, there's the tale of the unexpected check, arriving just in time to settle an old fine. Was it a stroke of extraordinary luck, or a glitch in the system we're living in? It's an enigma that makes us question the nature of our existence. These stories are not just mere anecdotes, they serve as a catalyst, sparking discussions about the nature of our reality. Are we living in a world governed by the rules we've come to understand, or is there something more? Something beyond our comprehension? The concept of alternate realities is not new. It's been a staple of science fiction for decades, and yet when confronted with these stories, it seems less like fiction, and more like a possibility. A possibility that could redefine our understanding of the world. So where does that leave us? Are we participants in a cosmic simulation, or are we inhabitants of a tangible physical world? It's a question that might never be answered definitively, but it's a question worth pondering. What do you believe? Are we living in a simulation, or is reality as we know it real? Your thoughts and experiences matter to us. It's not just about us sharing these reality-bending tales with you, it's about the conversations they spark, the debates they provoke, and the shared sense of wonder they inspire. So, let's get interactive. If any of these stories resonated with you or reminded you of something uncanny that you've experienced, we're eager to hear about it. You see, we're not just narrators of these tales, we're explorers of the unknown, just like you. And each shared experience, each comment, each theory, brings us one step closer to unraveling the mysteries of our universe. We're also on an exciting journey to reach 1,000 subscribers. This isn't just a number for us, it's a community of curious minds, of questioners, of reality skeptics. Each new subscriber isn't just another count, they're a new perspective, a new voice adding to our collective understanding. And as we inch closer to this milestone, we want to invite you to be a part of it. If you enjoy our content, if it intrigues you, challenges you, or even just entertains you, consider subscribing. Not just for us, but for the community that we're building together. And remember, your participation doesn't end with hitting that subscribe button. We encourage you to engage with us, to challenge us, to share your thoughts and experiences. Each comment left for us is a gem that we treasure. We love reading each and every one of them, learning from them, and growing with them. So, let's continue this journey of exploration together. Because at the end of the day, you are an integral part of this channel's journey. Your involvement makes this journey worthwhile. There's a special kind of magic in the community we've built here, a place where curiosity thrives and reality is always up for debate. Each view, each click, each share, propels us further into our exploration of the unknown. Your comments, those precious nuggets of thought, are the lifeblood of this channel. Each one is a spark, igniting conversation and feeding the flame of our collective fascination. Reading them, responding to them, is a joy. It's a reminder that we are not alone in our quest for answers. It's a testament to the power of shared curiosity. So, from the depths of the rabbit hole, thank you. Thank you for watching, for commenting, for being part of this unique journey. Your contribution is immeasurable, and your presence invaluable. Thank you for being part of this exploration of reality. Until next time, keep questioning the nature of your reality.
Have you ever experienced something that made you question reality? In our day-to-day lives, we often take the world around us for granted. We trust our senses, believing that what we see, hear, and feel is an accurate representation of the world. But what if we told you that there are instances when reality itself seems to glitch, just like a computer program? That's right. We're talking about the intriguing phenomenon often referred to as a glitch in the matrix. These are moments when the fabric of reality appears to warp, twist, or break, leaving us with experiences that defy logic and reason. From sudden changes in our surroundings to unexplainable events, these stories challenge our understanding of the world. So buckle up and prepare to dive into the unseen reality, a realm where the impossible becomes possible. Stay tuned for some spine-chilling stories that are sure to make you question everything you thought you knew about reality. Imagine sitting in a restaurant waiting for your order and then something utterly strange happens. You've been there 100 times before, know the menu like the back of your hand, and have shared countless laughs with the familiar faces behind the counter. It's a typical evening. The clatter of cutlery, the hum of conversation, and the aroma of your favorite dish wafting from the kitchen. You're anticipating that first bite, the explosion of flavors you've come to know and love. The waiter arrives balancing a tray of steaming plates. He begins to unload the dishes onto your table. But wait, this isn't what you ordered. You look up, puzzled, ready to point out the mistake. But then, the waiter says something that sends a chill down your spine. He insists with absolute certainty that these are the dishes you ordered. You're taken aback, your mind scrambling to make sense of what just happened. You're sure, beyond a shadow of a doubt, that you didn't order these dishes. You try to argue, but the waiter is steadfast. He even shows you the written order, your choices scribbled in your own handwriting. It's impossible, you think. You've never even tried these dishes before, but here comes the real twist. You give in, decide to try the unexpected meal placed before you. And to your absolute surprise, it's delicious. It's as if you've stumbled upon a new favorite, a dish you never knew you needed in your life. But how? How did your order get swapped for something you've never even considered before? It's a conundrum, a puzzle that refuses to be solved. You leave the restaurant, your mind buzzing with questions. Was it a simple mistake, a mix-up, or something more supernatural? A glitch in the matrix, perhaps? A simple meal that turned into a reality-bending experience. Now, picture this. You wake up one morning and find something on your body that was never there before. In the realm of the ordinary, we know our bodies like the back of our hands. We're familiar with every scar, every freckle, every mole. But what if one day you discovered something completely alien on your skin? Something that wasn't there when you went to bed but had appeared overnight as if by magic. This is exactly the situation one person found themselves in. They awoke one morning to find a birthmark on their skin. A birthmark that had never been there before. It was not a tiny speck easily overlooked, but a conspicuous mark that was impossible to miss. This was not a situation where one could attribute the sudden appearance to a forgotten injury or an overlooked blemish. This was a birthmark, a phenomenon usually associated with birth, not something that appears out of the blue in the middle of one's life. The shock and confusion that followed were palpable. A mirror was fetched and the birthmark was inspected over and over again. It was real, it was there, and it was completely unexplainable. Friends and family were just as baffled. Doctors were consulted, but they too were at a loss. Tests were run, but they offered no answers. This sudden and inexplicable appearance of a birthmark challenged everything we know about biology and the human body. It was as if the rules of reality had been bent, if not outright broken. The birthmark seemed to be a glitch in the matrix, a slip in the fabric of reality. Was it a sign, a message from the universe, a mark of destiny, or simply a random, inexplicable occurrence? The questions swirled, but the answers remained elusive. The birthmark became a silent testament to the mystery and unpredictability of life, a reminder that reality is not always as it seems, and that sometimes the impossible becomes possible in the most unexpected ways. A mark of mystery that defies all explanations. Ever felt like time is playing tricks on you? Picture this. You're sitting at your desk, staring at your wall clock, and suddenly it freezes. Not a battery issue, not a mechanical failure, it just stops. The second hand is stuck in a perpetual moment, refusing to move forward. You shake your head, confused, but let it slide. Maybe it's just a glitch, you think. But then something even stranger happens. You decide to take a quick drive, a route you've taken 1,000 times before. It usually takes you around 15 minutes to reach your destination. But this time, it's different. You start the car, you drive, you reach your destination. You glance at your watch, expecting the usual quarter of an hour to have passed. But to your bewilderment, only 5 minutes have gone by. You're perplexed. You've driven this route countless times, so you're certain about the time it requires. You haven't sped, there were no shortcuts, the traffic was the same, yet somehow you've managed to warp time itself. These are not just simple coincidences, these are time anomalies. Instances where time, as we know it, seems to twist and turn, obeying rules that we can't comprehend. It's as if the universe is playing a prank, or perhaps revealing to us that our understanding of time is not as concrete as we'd like to believe. We live our lives by the ticking of the clock, the changing of the seasons, the aging of our bodies. But what happens when these predictable patterns are disrupted? What happens when time no longer adheres to the rhythm we're accustomed to? These glitches in the matrix, these time anomalies, they challenge our perception of reality. They remind us that there's more to this world than what meets the eye. They make us question, they make us wonder, and they make us realize that sometimes the universe has its own set of rules. When time itself seems to bend to the whims of the unknown, dreams can often seem strange, but what if they start predicting the future? Now imagine this. You're in the throes of a vivid dream. A narrative unfolds in your subconscious, painting a picture so detailed and so specific, it's almost like watching a movie. You wake up, shake off the remnants of sleep, and go about your day. Then, days, weeks, or even months later, an event occurs that sends a chill down your spine. The event from your dream, the one that felt so real, is happening in front of your eyes. This isn't a scene from a science fiction novel. It's a real experience shared by an individual who found themselves in the middle of a predictive dream. The eeriness of the situation is not lost on them. The dream wasn't vague or abstract, it was an accurate portrayal of a future event. The details, the people involved, the location, everything was spot on. It's like a scene ripped straight from their dream and plastered onto reality. Predictive dreams aren't a new phenomenon. They have been recorded throughout history, with some attributing them to divine intervention, while others see them as a glitch in our reality. But what does it mean when you dream about something, and then it happens exactly as you dreamt it. Is it a mere coincidence, or is there something more at play? Some theories suggest that our brains are capable of picking up on subtle cues and patterns that we might not consciously notice. These cues then get processed during our dream state, resulting in dreams that seem to predict the future. But even this doesn't fully explain the uncanny accuracy of these dreams. It's as if the dreamer has somehow tapped into a parallel timeline or accessed a part of their brain that holds the key to future events. When the line between dreams and reality blurs, one can't help but wonder, is this a glitch in the matrix? The idea is as fascinating as it is unsettling. We may not have the answers, but these experiences certainly give us plenty to ponder about the mysteries of our mind and the nature of reality itself. Ever captured a photo that made you question your sanity? Now imagine this. You're at a family gathering, the room is filled with laughter, joy, and the comforting hum of familiar voices. You decide to capture this precious moment, so you pull out your camera and snap a quick photo of the room. Later, as you're scrolling through the pictures you took, one particular photo catches your eye. It's the snapshot of the family gathering, but something is off. You notice that your cousin, who was standing by the fireplace when you took the shot, is also seen sitting on the couch. The same cousin, twice, in the same photo. You blink, shake your head, look again. But the image remains the same. How could this be possible? You remember clearly, your cousin was by the fireplace when you took the picture. You didn't use any fancy photo editing tools or special effects. It was just a simple click of a button. Yet there it is. The undeniable evidence in front of you, your cousin appearing twice in the same photo. You show the photo around and everyone is as baffled as you are. Some laugh it off, attributing it to a camera glitch, but you know that's just not possible. You've used the camera countless times before and never encountered anything like this. So, what could have caused this peculiar event? Some might suggest a trick of light or a reflection or maybe even a prank. But none of these explanations quite fit the situation. This leaves us pondering the unexplainable, the uncanny, the supernatural. Could this be a glitch in the matrix, a hiccup in our perceived reality? Or perhaps it's a glimpse into a parallel universe where your cousin was both by the fireplace and on the couch at the same time. A moment frozen in time, yet seemingly distorted by an unseen force. It's these inexplicable occurrences that keep us questioning, exploring, and marveling at the mysteries of our existence. What if you had a conversation with someone who wasn't actually there? Now that's a question that might make your skin crawl, but it's exactly what happened in one peculiar instance. Imagine this. You're at home, going about your day, when you hear a familiar voice. You respond, thinking nothing of it, and the conversation continues. The exchange is so normal, so routine that you wouldn't think twice about it. But then you turn around and there's no one there. This isn't a figment of your imagination. You're not dreaming. You heard it clear as day, a voice that you know, a voice that you recognize. But the person to whom that voice belongs is nowhere to be seen. You search your home, but it's empty. It's just you. Yet you can't shake off the reality of that conversation. Could it have been a prank? Maybe, but there's no evidence of anyone else. Could it have been an echo or a reverberation? Possibly, but the conversation was too coherent, too detailed. It's as if you were talking to a phantom. This is a chilling tale that seems to defy logic and reason. A conversation with a non-existent person is something that most of us would brush off as an auditory hallucination or a simple mistake. But when it happens to you, when you experience it firsthand, it's hard to dismiss it as just a glitch in the matrix. In the realm of the unexplained and the supernatural, this is but one of many stories that challenge our understanding of reality. It's a reminder that there are things in this world that we may not fully comprehend, things that blur the line between the natural and the supernatural. A chilling encounter that defies logic and reason. These stories surely send a shiver down your spine, don't they? From the baffling mix-up at the restaurant to the birthmark that just appeared out of nowhere, we've journeyed through the unnerving time anomalies and pondered over dreams that eerily predict the future. And who could forget the photo with the double appearance or the phantom conversation that defies explanation? These are but a glimpse into the strange and unexplainable glitches in the matrix that some people experience. Now it's your turn. Have you ever encountered a glitch in your matrix? We're eager to hear your stories. So share your experiences in the comments below. And remember, every story helps us get a little closer to unraveling the unseen mysteries of our reality. Help us reach 1,000 subscribers. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Until next time, keep questioning reality.